I had to turn off in the sun. Chopper lean, trap, I got this shit jumping. You not talking cash in the discussion. You touch one of us, it's repercussions. Curry guns since I'm not with the fussing. I put drones on my shit, no percussion. I done lost so many of my brothers. Bitch, I'm living the life of a hustler. You don't shit if you don't eat with your brother. Get that pack and break down with each other. Make that pack and touchdown, we don't fumbles. Ain't no secret, we eat it like supper. Bitch, I'm living the life of a hustler.
Blessed morning. This is BreiEndia, my 90-day self-journeys retreat in 808 Tavern. This morning I woke up really early, so I'm going to go for a run. Give me a little bit of a longer stretch of meditation in. Since yesterday morning I did a spiritual cleanse and just spiritual time. I didn't really meditate as I desired to do. So I'm going to do that today. But ultimately, starting off early with my message for today, because today is July 5th, 2020, and this is my day of self-pressure. I'm going to have a few things that I need to get done today. So I need to make sure that I'm on my toes and I'm pushing myself to do everything I need to do and complete. And the thought of behind self-pressure as I prayed this morning was just simply not necessarily looking at my past, but revisiting certain traits of myself and of, family and people around that have been in my life. And not to judge them, but to more so recognize things that I personally don't want to carry on with. So, like I said, this is a season of shedding for me, detoxing, and allowing myself to reset in a more balanced way for myself. I have a few things that I'm going to be doing today involving my businesses, but that is a part of the journey. I have to make sure that I stay consistent with myself and what I'm doing. But ultimately, it's self-pressure day. So I'm going to release some videos that I posted last year that got deleted or I deleted. I don't really remember. But ultimately, I still have them. So I'm going to share them today because those videos and messages align with the pressure that I started to have last year between losing my job abruptly, my ex-husband losing his job abruptly, and then us being put in a predicament where we had some ups and downs. And ultimately, I always evaluate things that happen that way so that I can understand what it means, what's the message behind it, and how to evolve from it. So when it comes to also, having chosen to move out of that marriage and we mutually made this decision, I had videos when I was in my vehicle traveling from, the DMV to Atlanta to South Carolina, North Carolina. I made stops, New York, Florida. I made stops all up and down the East Coast. Last year when I was going through my whole awareness and awakening phase, and I was learning about, like I said, traits, personality traits. And I was being confused with all the thoughts and the things going on in my head, thinking I was going through a spiritual attack and somebody, blaming people at first, saying somebody put roots on me. And it was just all these things going on. And I want to touch on this subject because when you feel like you're being spiritually attacked, it is a mental. And I have grown to the realization that I feel as though when it comes to religion, I separated from spirituality because I feel like spirituality is a combination of all of the types of religions that exist. And religions are names and titles that are forms of separation of God's power. So ultimately, I view them in a very different type of way, but I give credit to the Creator for all of the ways that He's given us to understand His power. And the power that He gave each one of us, as we all have a piece of God within us, to either acknowledge and grow or ignore and just sit still and let it die off. And that's why we age faster, is because we ignore the very piece of us that has God within ourselves in order to understand that even if you do or don't believe in karma, for instance, that is still something I view as being a part of the creator's thing. So if he did create karma, or if there's another word for it, that's ultimately just energy. That's ultimately, because there could be good and bad karma. You can receive, a return of something bad that you put out just as much as you can receive a return of something good that you put out. But it's all about your intentions. And when it comes to self pressure, I'm pressuring myself, and I'm applying that pressure to my goals and my aspirations, and to my motivation to push myself consistently to figure out how I want to move forward when it comes to the betterment of myself and when I deliver people, and trying to understand how to maneuver in these times. Watching, what is it? I think I seen a video about something called NFAC, and it was very empowering. And ultimately, it just shows the evolving of people. And as I watch and I observe the world, I am always keeping everyone in my prayers. And ultimately, that is where I see my strength and position as a warrior, is to keep my connection with the highest source of us all and continue to grow it. And this started for me last year. Now, all of my life, since I was a child, as I mentioned before in prior videos, I have had, dreams and nightmares and all kind of stuff like that. But, my family has this thing where they used to gift me with dream catchers, which are meant for children to not have the nightmares. They're supposed to catch the nightmares and allow the children to sleep easy and have good dreams. However, people take advantage of the meaning of what that is, and some people use them for bad as well. So ultimately, applying this pressure means learning about those things that are embedded in me so that I can grow my strength in the spirit and in spirituality. And that's the thing that I'm applying to today, as well as applying pressure to everything that I have to do today. A little embroidery, a little, print shop stuff going on here. But ultimately, this is, the beginning. I'm going to have fun with it. And, this is a part of investing in myself. I'm not going to go and go out of my way anymore to set aside the fact that I can do certain things for myself. And I'll support other businesses and other people evolving, but ultimately, this is what I desire to do. So I'm going to put forth my own effort to learn how to do it and get it done. And that is a part of applying that pressure, is understanding that I can't sit around waiting for a helping hand, a partnership, or encouragement, or the time or the money to pay somebody else to do something that I know how to figure out how to do on my own. And that is where I am with the aspect of applying pressure. As well as, like I mentioned, I'm going to be posting those videos simply to share my views on narcissism and empathy. And I'm not big on labels. I still have this thing where I used to read the dictionary when I was a kid, and it seems like words just constantly grow. But they're not always, I can't say they're not always valid, but just simply understand that a man or a woman came up with these words. So I have a way about how I view words, and especially when they're used to project a label onto people. So I'm careful with my words. As I've always said, power of the tongue is the matter of life and death. And, what you speak is very important to understand the intentions behind what you're speaking and where you're directing it to. And as we evolve and the world is shifting, I'm starting to see and understand that when you speak, whether you say it out loud or you say it to yourself or you write it down, those things are ultimately manifesting only on the basis of the creator of all things. ultimately, and it's what you believe that you receive. So if what you're saying is something that you actually believe, and it's not the time right now to believe in the bad karma, if you believe in karma or the bad reciprocation, as long as you put out the good intentions, and as long as you had a good mentality when you gave some type of an energy out, understand that that's going to be returned to you, and it's not always going to be in money or in materials either. Sometimes it'll be in comfort or in safety or in good health. That is actually a gift, because there's a lot of people that are sick right now in the world. And ultimately, right now, if you're not, that is a blessing. That is good to be able to wake up and be able to breathe. I'm always talking about appreciating your breath. And as I think the highest creator of the things that I have been blessed with thus far, I understand that I have to apply this pressure to my work ethic and to what I'm doing to stay focused on the growth of what it is that I'm supposed to be fulfilling. Now, the narcissism and the empath videos and all of that, and even some other videos that I'm going to share. I have a poem that I have that I expressed off of a dear friend of mine who is an artist. She had a painting that she had done that resonated with my spirit at the time, in which I wrote a poem called Save Yourself, and I spoke it. So I'm going to repost that. I'm going to post my 3-part video about narcissistic and empathic views from my perspective, based on not necessarily blaming anyone in my family, but just recognizing that it's certain traits that we carry that can carry these labels based on what other people view it as from their eyesight. And I'm constantly trying to heal those things in me that I feel as though are heavy, because it's unnecessary to carry heaviness and negativity, especially about yourself. I'm in such a good place right now that I can share it, because I no longer am in this nervous or reckless or uncomfortable place in my mind or my body. And I allow my thoughts and my dreams to filter in and out. And I don't consider them nightmares anymore if they are negative or if they seem a little dark, because I have come to the point where I'm mastering the balance of those dark and light thoughts and emotions and energies within myself, so that I'm able to accept all of me. That is very important to me, is accepting every bit of who I am, and understanding that who I am is, I am a loving person, and I choose to be this way regardless of how it's viewed by the world. I can't help who hates, especially if they hate me, but that's not my problem. It never was, but it ultimately really is not my problem anymore who has a problem with me. So that's their own issue. If they're walking around with envy, jealousy, trying to compete for, especially if you're trying to compete with someone who is in your realm of, expectations of growth, what is the point in that? Like, I don't understand, but it's not even it's not even, I don't have time to focus on stuff like that. And that's what I mean by applying pressure to the things that actually matter when it comes to manifesting and becoming somebody, but also giving and sharing and spreading good positive energy with people. I don't have a desire to share any type of negativity with others that I have, because I'd rather heal those things. And that's what I'm doing. I encourage people and you all to wake up and be in love with yourself, your breath, brush your teeth, wash your face. But of course, be in love with the fact that you're breathing, that you woke up, look at the sun, step outside, at least get 15 minutes of sunlight and fresh air. Because even when I step outside, I take this thing off for a second so I can actually breathe and adapt to the air and the air changing. But I'm going to post those videos. You can comment, you can say whatever. It doesn't really matter. I don't care if it's good or bad. I want to share those things, because sometimes we overlook our emotions and we overlook our feelings. I said some negative things that I definitely went to people and, asked for forgiveness from them. But ultimately, God has already forgiven me. That's who I worry about my judgments coming from. So this is BreiEndia, my 90-day self-journeys retreat. in the 808 Tavern, and God bless.